Hello beautiful people, and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a what's for dinner video. It has been a long time since I have made one of these, and this one's going to be a little bit different because I am doing Whole30. I am actually on my last week, woohoo! But I have really enjoyed doing Whole30, and I highly encourage you to try it if you're having like digestive issues, or you want to lose just a few pounds, or just to like reset your body if you notice that you're like really addicted to sugar or something like that. It has really helped me to feel better and to lose a little bit of weight. And it also just gives you a better relationship with food if you find yourself like overeating or not eating enough or eating junk food. It's just a way to reset your body, so I really highly encourage it. But I will stop rambling now and let's go ahead and get into the first recipe. So on the first night, I'm going to be making a Whole30 spaghetti sauce. It is very similar to like regular spaghetti sauce in the sense of the seasonings and tomato and all that good stuff. It doesn't have any sugar in it, obviously, because it's Whole30, so it is a little on the tangy side. Which didn't bother me personally. My husband wasn't a huge fan of it, but it's definitely edible and definitely an interesting flavor. It's not something that I don't think that I could have over and over again because it is really tart and tangy, but it was good. And if you're doing Whole30 and you want something like hearty, this is a really good meal. So I'm just starting off by browning up some hamburger meat. I am using low-fat, grass-fed, organic hamburger meat like I always do. And I am making that and mayonnaise, just some regular spaghetti noodles. And then I will be having mine on zucchini noodles. So once your ground beef is cooked all the way through, you are going to drain off any excess fat. And then I'm just going to be adding half of an onion and then 3 tablespoons of minced garlic to start out with. And then I will be adding back the ground beef and adding in some more seasonings and the tomatoes and all that good stuff. So first thing, you're going to add in a can of tomato sauce. Definitely check your labels with this and make sure that there is no added sugar. Sugar is in everything. It is the most craziest thing. Like, no wonder we're addicted to sugar. But it is literally in like the craziest stuff. So just check your labels if you're doing Whole30 and make sure there's no added sugar. And then once you have all this combined well, you're going to add in a can of diced tomatoes. I did choose the diced tomatoes that had Italian seasoning. Again, making sure that there's no added sugar. And then you're going to add in some tomato paste. So now for all the seasonings, you're going to end up using Italian seasoning, garlic powder, onion powder, salt, pepper, basil, typical seasonings that you use when you're making spaghetti sauce. Now that you have all your seasonings added, you're just going to combine everything well, making sure everything is distributed evenly. And of course, in true Andrea fashion, I have to make a huge mess when I cook, so gonna clean that up really quick. But once you have everything stirred well, you're just going to put this on low and cover and just kind of let it simmer. And I did end up adding another can of the diced tomatoes just because I didn't like the consistency of the sauce. It was a little too thick, so I added another can of petite diced tomatoes, and then I added a few more seasonings just to kind of balance out that acidity. But you're gonna cover and simmer, and that is it. So off camera, I went ahead and cooked up some zucchini noodles. I did get the ones that are in the bag that you just pop in the microwave. It's so easy and so simple. And if you are on Whole30, I recommend doing things like this because the easier it is, the better off you are and the more chances that you're going to stick with it. So here is the finished product. Like I said, I served mine over zucchini noodles and it was pretty dang good. So I do recommend this meal. I would probably say I would give it a 7 out of 10. So on this night, I am going to be making Whole30 taco salads. I decided to use ground turkey for this recipe instead of the ground beef that it called for. Any kind of ground meat is fine. It doesn't really matter. But you're just going to brown this up and add your seasonings. Also, while your meat is browning, you are going to cut up some fresh veggies. So for this, I am going to be using some red pepper, some fresh tomato, and then of course, some avocado. So to keep this Whole30 compliant, you are going to want to make your own taco seasoning. You don't want to use the stuff in the packet because it's got added sugar and dairy and all kinds of stuff. So you're gonna add some paprika, some cumin, some chili powder, some garlic powder, onion powder, and salt and pepper. Now that your seasonings are added, you are going to add in 2 tablespoons of water just to give it a base to mix those seasonings well. And then you're just going to combine everything. So these are Matt's tacos. I decided to make him actual tacos instead of taco salad. And then I made myself the taco salad. And this recipe was so delicious and I highly recommend it. 10 out of 10. So the next night I am going to be making Whole30 biscuits and gravy. Yes, you heard that right. So we're going to start out with some almond flour, a couple of eggs, some ghee, which is clarified butter, Whole30 compliant. We're also going to add in some baking powder and some salt. So while all this is being combined, you're going to be browning up your sausage, also making sure that it is Whole30 compliant, no added sugar, no dairy, all of the good things. Now that your sausage is all browned up, you're not going to drain it, but you're going to add in a couple of tablespoons of the ghee to the ground sausage. And then you're going to add in some almond flour. And then instead of good old-fashioned milk, we're going to be using coconut milk. So yeah, it's a little weird. It is. I will admit it's a little weird, but it turned out pretty good. I mean, it definitely wasn't, you know, my favorite Southern style gravy and biscuits, but you know, it sufficed the craving. And then of course you are going to mix up those biscuits and plop those in the oven. And here is the finished product. I'm gonna have to give this a 6 out of 10. It wasn't the best. The almond flour just, I don't know, there was something off about it, but like I said, it was sufficient for what it needed to do. So my last recipe is just going to be a quick, easy, simple sheet pan dinner. I have some chicken breast, some asparagus, and some potatoes. I got this peri-peri chicken sauce. It's not really chicken sauce, but you can use it for chicken. And from what I can tell, it looks like it's Whole30 compliant. So I'm going to be putting that on the chicken. And then I'm going to just douse? Yeah, I guess that's the right word, douse. The potatoes and asparagus and a little bit of olive oil. And then I'm just going to add a little bit of garlic powder and salt and pepper. And then I'm just going to bake it in the oven. I mean, it's pretty simple, self-explanatory. Nothing fancy as far as like the ingredients and how long it takes to cook, but it's actually a kind of nice, you know, nicer dinner. But here it is, all fresh and hot and steamy out of the oven. And that sauce, even though it was the medium, was super spicy. But it's very good. So I highly recommend it. And this dinner was a 10 out of 10 also. So that is going to wrap up my Whole30 What's for Dinner. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, make sure you give it a big old thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. And thanks for being my kind weird. Bye.